Jung and Han Wayan were housemates, both of them in the same university, but Jung was senior while Wayan his junior. Jungkook was a bully of Wayan. He never harmed her, just wanted to some fun. Some fun didn't harm anyone, right? Wayan was not afraid to admit she liked him. He was sweet. He treated people decently, unlike her father who only cared for his money. So no matter what he did, he could always get something out of it. Jungkook was good but still bullied her. He laughed, seeing her in pain when she opened her locker to put some things back. He smiled looking at her shed that was white as snow with purple flowers scattered all over it. He laughed again. She didn't say anything and made her way to the girls' bathroom, totally ignoring him. Which didn't unnoticed by Jungkook, so he followed her inside the girls' bathroom and took a seat on the one of the sinks while Ryan washed her clothes. Ryan was trying so hard to forget about him when suddenly he spoke. Ryan said, avoiding his gaze, "It's really weird when Jungkook apologized like that to her." Jungkook looked at her confused, but before he could say anything, Ryan left the room without turning back, closing the room behind, leaving Jungkook all alone. Jungkook looked down at his feet, feeling bad for his behavior. When he thought about it, what he had done, he realized it wasn't a great idea and quickly got up, leaving the bathroom. Making his way toward his next class, Ryan was hiding behind a wall waiting for Jungkook to leave. She sighed heavily and made her way to the class. He whispered as they were in the class. Jungkook stopped writing notes. Ryan's mother, the woman that left her father when she found out about his affair, even though their relation was perfect until then. He shook his head, making Jungkook sigh. He stood up quickly, grabbing his things, rushing out of the room, leaving his teacher staring at him. Vine rolled her eyes and continued walking. She giggled. She sat and entered her house. Vine dropped her bag on the floor and made her way to the living room. She sighed as she plopped on the couch. She questioned herself, wondering why she cared so much. What happened with dad and mom didn't bother her anymore since she moved on with her life. But now she couldn't help but notice Jungkook was acting strangely lately. It was really weird because he acted normal normally, but now he is with some other girl. And she hated it. She didn't understand why she felt this. They weren't even friends. Why can he be with her if he likes her? Why does he keep coming to her when he knows that they weren't close to each other? She whispered. His voice made her turn around startled. Vine stared wide eyed and the boy standing there. she said, trying to cover her shocked expression. He sat beside her on the couch, making her flinch. This was weird. Why was he sitting so close to her? She scored away from him slightly. Her heart was pounding. He asked, noting her uncomfortable expressions. She hoofed, crossing her arms over her chest. He blinked slowly, watching her, then suddenly he grabbed her wrist forcefully, pulled her closer. She tried to free herself, but he kept holding on to her wrist tightly. Vine struggled against him, but it was no use. Jungkook was stronger than her. She lost. He explained, still holding her hand tightly. She muttered, trying to pull away, but he tightened his hold on her wrist. He asked, staring into her eyes. Vine swallowed hard. She was getting nervous. Why would he ask? Was it because of something she said? Did she make a mistake and reveal too much? Vine frowned as he stared at her with such an intense look. It made her feel more nervous. He called softly, making her stop fighting. Wang glanced up, finding him inches away from her face. Their breath mingled. Jungkook's eyes were deep, almost black, and filled with emotions. They looked at each other for a moment longer. Wang closed her eyes. She needed to calm down. He continued staring into her eyes. She shook her head. He whispered, still holding her wrist, making her heart pound against her chest. Her breathing quickened. Was he going to kiss her? Was he finally going to confess that he has feelings for her? His eyes were still full of emotion, making her heart beat faster. He brought his face closer, brushing his finger on her cheek, and she instinctively leaned forward. He said between the kisses, causing goosebumps to appear on her skin and makes her knees weak. Vine's brain was short circuited as she tried to answer before kissing him again. Vian looked into his deep eyes, her breath erratic. She wanted to ask why he was kissing her, but suddenly she couldn't utter a word. As her cheek grew hot, she nodded her head as she wasn't able to speak. He asked, smiling. The words slipped out of her mouth before she could realize what she had answered. She blushed harder, covering her face, looking away from him, ashamed of her actions. Jungkook laughed softly before leaning in to give her another passionate kiss.